Now, I fixed the biggest problem with the Tesla Model Y. Hey, welcome back, whether you're a longtime viewer or a new subscriber like Tripping with Jay. I see you. I appreciate every single one of you. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. Now, I fixed the biggest problem with the Tesla Model Y, and this may be subjective. Now, I love Teslas, obviously, I love them all, but I loved my Model 3's look better than I did on my Model Y. The number one reason why I didn't get the Model Y was because of the look. Now, I don't really like the shape of it. I don't really like, you know, how bulbous it looks, right? That's not really my style. But I was able to do some things to improve that. And the other thing is, where I live, there are so many Model Ys, so many of them, where it's like, it's ridiculous, right? So I want mine to stand out a little more. So those were the two biggest issues I had with the car. Now, to talk about some of those things, the first thing you'll notice is we got to start with the base, right? And I know looks aren't everything. Looks aren't everything. That's what my dad told me about my junior prom date, right? He said looks aren't everything. But to me, they're important when it comes to the vehicle, like when I walk up to it. So let's start with the base. You know how sometimes you go to, you know, a sushi bar or a poke bar or a Chipotle, they ask you what your base is, rice, salad. Well, my base right here is matte PPF. Matte PPF. And the beautiful thing about this, and everything you're gonna see pretty much, is the budget. It's budget friendly, right? So this matte PPF protects your car, right? It makes it look nice. It protects you from rock chips and things of that nature, right? It does a great job of doing that, but I wanted the matte color. And the nice thing about this was, I did it myself. So I went through Drive Protected, and it was about $3,000. It cost about $3,000. And everything I talk about, if there's a discount code attached, I will put that in the description. About $3,000 to do it myself. It is a lot of work, right? But I'm saving thousands. And like I said, it's not perfect. There's still some areas where I'm popping bubbles here and there, you know. I'm still touching it up. But I saved a lot of money, and it was kind of fun to do. So that's the base, right? Just to give it a different look. And yes, there's a lot of matte Teslas out there, but that's just the start. That's just the start. The next thing I want to talk about, the next thing I looked at was, if you haven't noticed those roof racks up there, those roof racks. Now, Tesla's roof racks cost $500. I got these from Yeslack. Yeah, I think that's how it's pronounced, Yeslack. They are $269. They look very similar. They aren't as polished on the edges. Like when you look right here, you can see this rubber. It looks, compared to the Tesla one, it looks a little different. I like the Tesla's one a little bit more, but that's only if you're looking really closely. But looking from a distance right here and walking up to it, I think it looks cool, right? My wife says I look like I got a Subaru or a rally car now, right? So, but that's cool. I really like the way it looks. It gives it more, like my friend did say that, you know what? It's already a high car. You don't want to make it higher. But for me, it just gives it a little more definition. It makes it look a little more dynamic, right? It makes it look a little more aggressive. And that was my theme here. I went with a little more aggression in different areas. But the installation was pretty easy. The hardest part was finding the little, they have little arrows here on the glass to tell you where it lines up. And you can, of course, measure. And it comes with all the tools, of course, but I just used the markers that Tesla have on there. I lined them up. Installation was pretty easy. That was the hardest part. And I did it all by myself, right? Did it all by myself, no issues at all. They're nice and sturdy. Now, honestly, my buddy was like, so where you going? Where you taking it? Man, these are 100% aesthetic. No, but you know, if I do eventually want to put some up here, I guess I can. But there is a slight whistle. When I get up to about 40 to 60 miles per hour, you can hear a whistle from in the cabin. With the music up, you can't really hear it. And just to be honest, it does bother me sometimes when I notice it. I'm like, oh man. But you know what? I did hear that I can replace these little parts right here, this rubber. And I found that on forums. And even some Tesla OEM ones whistle. I guess it depends on you know, different factors, but I can replace these to stop that whistle. I might try that later, but I like the way those look. Speaking of Yeslak, they also had this really dope V-style carbon fiber spoiler right here. Now, this is a big boy. This one is pretty substantial. I like the look of it. I had the performance one, and just to be honest, I really love switching up things on my car. The only thing on my Model 3 that I never changed once I had it, the yoke. The yoke stays on, right? The yoke is a constant. I love the yoke, and I won't change that up. But different kind of spoilers, you know. This one, it sticks out. It's pretty wide bodied right here. But look at that real carbon fiber. And at first I was like, is it too big? Is it too big? But I mean, it really fits, right? It fits because if you look at the bottom right here, it kind of sticks out through a little tail, and the spoiler's nice and substantial, and it matches with the roof racks, and also it matches with these little eyelids I put on there. And that actually, this was my wife's idea. She wanted these on there, and I'll talk about those in a little bit. But this spoiler is super easy, and what helped it out was how big it is. You see, it's easy to match up the sides, make sure it's all even before you put it on, and it's pretty dope. I really like how it looks. Here it is from the back. And it just gives it that aggressive stance. Now that spoiler, even though it's big, heavy duty, it's super light, it's carbon fiber, and it only costs $289, right? Again, discount codes in the description for everything that I have one for. It's big, but it's not too ridiculous, right? It does fit the look of this car. I think it gives it a nice aggressive look. But talking about the downforce, do I feel the downforce? I don't know. I don't really think so, but you know, I'm gonna keep it 100% with y'all, right? So looking down here, the next thing we have are these fog light trims from Jipu. I just got these on Amazon, and I have purchased some other things from Jipu, but these are on $35, and I went with these because the bottom is a lot longer. I like that longer look here at the bottom. And I don't really like them. My wife wanted them, but honestly, it matches because it gives that 3D effect, right? It pops. It pops out just like these pop out, just like the spoiler pops out, right? And the next thing that pop out and functional are these mud flaps. These mud flaps are cool. They come from Halo Black, and it's $45 for two of them, right? One right here and one right here. Now Tesla's only cost $40, but they only come with the front ones. And that kind of makes sense, right? Because what you really want to do is protect any rocks or anything for popping up right here and hitting this. So you really want to protect that. This right here is protecting down here, but it's already rubber down there, so I'm not really worried about that. But it looks more balanced, right? It looks more balanced having it right here and right here, right? Having both of them down there. It just looks good. And the thing about these, you'll see some mud flaps that come up here on the side, and I've heard of, this is plastic, right? This is plastic, but on the Model 3 and some of the older models, this is like paint. And if it comes over the side, it can scratch it. So these don't come over the side, and the installation is super easy. You just pop off the old little buttons in there, put in the new ones. And what I like about this is, look at that. So I've also heard of and seen mud flaps that actually crack and break, right? These are very flexible, very strong. And look, they're already doing their work, right? They're already working, you can tell. Check that out, right? Look how flexible they are. And the shape of them. So the shape, check that out. I mean, there's so many mud flaps out there. So many that you could look at and buy. And it's like, how do you pick, right? You can go off of what you like, the style you like, but you really want something that's gonna last, that won't crack, something weather resistant, and something that looks cool, right? Something that looks cool. And since we down here looking at the mud flaps, I want y'all to take a look at the rim case, right? The rim case by MagBak. And you said, well, I thought this was about aesthetics, right? This protects the rim. And you can't even see it on there, right? You can't even see it on there. If you look closely, you can see a little bit, right? But from a distance, not even that far away, you can't even notice it. So they're like cases for your rims. You know how you put phone cases on? This protects it from curb rash. If you just, the way Tesla rims are designed, the wheels, they pop out a little bit from the tire. So if you just brush up against the curb, it's scratched, right? And instead of replacing them, all you have to do is pop off these rim case and put on some new ones. That's it, right? That's it. So I don't know. I just did a test on them, a demo on them. I have hit the curb before in my Model 3 and my Model X, and it was just carelessness. It's me, right? But if I had these on there, it's easy to replace. You just pop it out and put it back on. And I actually, before I had my Model Y, I did offer these to my friends that had them, and I said, hey, do you want to test these out? I just got to make a video. And they were like, no. I guess from the pictures, it looked like you could notice them and they stood out, but they don't, right? So I had them on and I showed my homie and I said, look, I got that rim protector on there I showed you. He was like, where? He was like, where? I said, look, they're on there. He's like, oh, you can't even tell. I said, I know. That's what I was trying to tell you, but you don't really know unless you get it and you try it. But I really, really think that's a good buy right there. And last but not least, to make my car stand out a little more, see this silver dual motor, that chrome? With the car being dull, that's why I went with the carbon fiber shiny to give it some pop. And I want to keep that shiny. I didn't black it out like I did on the other cars. But here, I went with the Tesla letters, right? I went with the letters. I removed the T. I went with the lettering, and I've seen that. But I went with the chrome to match the dual motor and to pop a little bit. I went with the chrome. And I think it looks cool, man. It just gives it a different look, a different dimension. It's not a Subaru, but it just pops with that silver right there. And these were $17 on Amazon. But overall, it completes the look. It completes the package. They're from Cool Co. And again, links to everything in the description. So I don't know. I do care about the exterior of my car because I walk up to it. I like to look back at it, you know what I mean? And I'm really proud of the way this one came out. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's an extension of me, right? It's an extension of me. I got my little rally car, and who knows, it might not stay like this for very, very long. I did black out my headlights on my Model 3. I think I'm gonna keep it white to match the white seats a little bit, a little pop, right? I don't want everything too dark, and I'm keeping my chrome up there. And also, I did get a tint, a 50 on the windshield, and I can't remember. I think a 20 on the front. You know, the back windows are not tinted, they're stained, but I want that dark look. And if you go with a tint, spend the extra money, get some kind of ceramic or something that has IR protection and also UV protection, right? You want to reject that heat. So I went with a 50, which is a little darker than I wanted, but I had a 60 on there and I had a 70 on my other cars, but with the white interior, I needed it darker. But hey, tell me your thoughts on this. Tell me how you feel. Tell me if you're feeling the look. Let me know. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, Cobra told ya. All right, y'all.